Hello YouTube friends, it's me, Barbara, from Barbara White from Wigs and Fluff. I do have another channel, it's Barbara Wiley Art, W-I-L-E-Y. And on that channel, as long as I'm talking about it, we're going to be painting today the tulips. Today's the day I'm going to try and upload the how-to on making this tulip project. This is really pretty for your house. This is a small size canvas. It's thin. You can put it on the bigger size. You can get the thicker size one over at Hobby Lobby. You paint the sides and it needs no frame. You don't put these in a frame. This is one we did, bicycle with the lavender. That would look really pretty in the house for spring as well. So just a few things that we're doing over on my other channel, my art channel. Now, this morning I wanted to talk to you something not about wigs. This is The Breeze by Raquel Welch. The Breeze. Pretty color, pretty hair. I really like this one. It's really comfortable. But what I wanted to talk to you today is something that I suffer from, and maybe a lot of other people do as well. I have diabetes, and it runs in my family on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side. And I'm the one in the middle. And it does skip generations, but it didn't skip me. And I had it very severely. My A1C was up in the 10s, which is really getting up there. My morning blood sugar was registering 200. And there was literally nothing I could do to stop it. I tried fasting for a while, and that by itself brought it down some, but you get discouraged after a while. You got to eat. So I saw a channel on YouTube called Beat Diabetes with Dennis Pollock. And he introduced me to Dr. Fung, I think it is, and some other people who were doing research on diabetes. The fact of the matter is, a lot of times doctors just don't give you enough help to overcome your diabetes. It's just the fact. You can go in there and they will just give you, one time they gave me something that was actually $2,000 a week. It was a shot that I was supposed to administer to myself in my stomach. $2,000 a week after insurance. I said, no, that's crazy. It's just, the cost of diabetes is so, the pharmaceutical industry is so taking advantage of it that I feel like they're just profiting off people's sickness and illness. So I did some research, and I came up with a few things that have brought my A1C way down, and my morning blood sugar is now around, well, it's on the way down, but it's now around 110. And that's a big, huge drop. That's a big, huge increase. So these are my 5 steps that I have come up with. And if it helps you, great. I hope it does, and I hope you'll listen, because going to the doctor doesn't necessarily work. The problem is they give you things like insulin. Well, insulin makes you gain weight, and guess what? Food is the enemy with diabetes. And when you gain weight, it's only going to make your diabetes worse. And insulin makes you gain weight. So does metformin or any of these other pills that they try to give you instead. They just make you gain weight, and pretty soon they don't work. And these are the 5 steps that I came up with as an alternative. Right now I'm on no meds at all, 0. I've gone from using insulin and the pill plus exercise, didn't do much good. So I came up with this plan. I didn't come up with it personally. I listened, I learned, and this is what works for me. Number one is diet. No bread, no sugar. I have to watch carbs. 0 carbs, as close to 0 as you can get it. Now, you can't go with 0 carbs, but pretty much as close to 0 as you can get it. There's a lot of foods that you can eat, meals that you can have that have very, very few carbs. And that's what you're looking for, the smallest amount of carbs that you can get away with, and 0 amount of bread, because in any way, shape, or form, bread or potatoes are just not going to work for you. At least they don't work for me. And most meats don't work for me, although I can eat turkey-related products like turkey bacon or turkey burgers. Those work for me. Steak doesn't work for me for some reason. It works for some people. Hamburger doesn't work for me, but it works for other people. I think in diabetes that most everybody have triggers. I can't eat oatmeal. Oatmeal makes my blood sugar go sky high with just plain nothing on it. Just the sticky, ucky oatmeal goes sky high. So, anyways, sorry, allergies. So back to what my 5 steps were. It's diet, low carb plus keto. Keto means eating as low carb as possible, taking out all the carbs. So most of your keto recipes you have to experiment with. Some are a little bit more liberal than others with good carbs. You end up mixing a lot of things together and getting more carbs than you realize. This one may have 2 carbs, this one may have 1 carb, this other ingredient over here may have 3 carbs. When you put it all together, you've got 5 or more carbs, and that's maybe more carbs than what you bargained for. So you have to be careful about mixing foods and recipes, I think, at least for me. But anyway, my diet is keto and low carb. Keto and low carb, and 1 meal a day. I know that sounds harsh, but that's all this body here is going to be able to handle. One meal a day. I can drink unsweet tea till the cows come home, and I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee, never have. So I drink unsweet tea. So I can drink all the unsweet tea I want, and it's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. There's nothing in tea or coffee itself. Now, if you're a coffee drinker, I understand that there's a version of coffee, buttered coffee, that you can have. And so a lot of people with the keto diet and the intermittent fasting, which is the second step, intermittent fasting, they will have the coffee in the morning and wait until about 12:30, 1 o'clock to eat. They'll skip breakfast. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I skip breakfast and don't eat till noon. But most of the time, I'll go ahead and have my 1 meal in the morning, and I don't eat again during the day. So I've got this way huge arm of fasting that I've done all day long and all night long. And I don't get that hungry. I really don't. My body doesn't need that much food. And putting that much food into my body doesn't seem to work very well. So I'm shooting for at least a 16-hour window of fasting before I have a meal. And then I have a meal, and then I wait and I fast the rest of the time. My goal with my blood sugar is getting it under 100. So I'm still working on it. I've got it way down from what it was. So diet is keto with low carb. The second one is intermittent fasting, which means I go like 16 hours and I don't eat until noon the next day. And most people doing this kind of fasting eat 2 meals a day. I only eat 1 because my diabetes was that severe. So I only eat 1 for now. Maybe later on I can start eating 2. But for now it's just the 1. And if you're eating 2 meals, they say eat at 12:30 and then eat like at 4:35, maybe 6 o'clock. You want it like a 6-hour window in between the meals. So the third thing that I do is exercise. Now, some people go for an hour-long walk outside, rain or shine. You can do that if you want. I prefer to do exercise tapes. I think exercise tapes, like Leslie Sang, you know, of her walking videos where you walk, side step, and so on. They seem to build up my legs, and I like that. I need strong legs. I'm 75 this year. I'm going to need strong legs. So I like those exercise tapes. And I work out at least a mile, maybe 3 miles every day. So 7 days a week. So also my 4th step is Mike the Meter. I stick my fingers multiple times a day and test to see where I am during the day. Is it going down? Did I eat something in my one meal that was a no-no that I didn't know that spiked me? So you have to keep track. I test about 3-4 times a day, making sure that everything is doing what I want it to do. And the last thing I do is pray. This is how I got into this 5-step program, and it's worked really well for me. Prayer. I ask God to help me, find me a way to eat and live so that I don't have to take all these medications, because the medications were literally killing me. Literally killing me. Because they would make my blood sugar go way up, then go crash way down, and all kinds of crazy up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's not what you want. You want more of an even keel. You don't want those high highs and low lows. You want something that's more, the curve to go like this. Your blood sugar is going to go up and down. It's not going to stay the same. It's going to go up and down. But you don't want it like this. You want it like this, so that you can stay on an even keel. So what you do is you pray and you ask God to help you choose the right program for you. And He'll help you. He really will. He has a plan for your life. He doesn't want you sick. He doesn't want you sick. He didn't want me sick. So what He did was showed me on YouTube one day, Dennis's YouTube channel. And I started getting interested in it. And then I just sat and watched every single one of them. I consumed all of his videos and took notes in my book and wrote it down and wrote it down and wrote it down. I keep a book like this every day. I write in it, write down what the Lord tells me when I pray, and I take notes in that book. And I wrote down all the recipes in that book. I wrote down all the stuff that I learned in that book, and I had it right there so I could look it back up and review it and see what I was doing wrong or right, as the case may be. So prayer. So the 5 steps are diet, a keto, low-carb diet with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting works. It works. It works better than your pills and your expensive diabetes medications. It just does. I know doctors are trying to do their job, but they're controlled by the pharmaceutical industries. That's just the case. I mean, you can't deny it. You see the representatives coming in the office every time you go into the doctor's office, taking up time. But that's what they do. And they control the doctors, and they tell them, you know, which product they want them to push. Just like I got the $2,000 a week thing. I didn't buy it. I just refused. $2,000 a week. I'm not kidding. That's exactly what happened to me. And this was at one of Atlanta's top 10 doctors that I had. $2,000 a week that he thought it was okay to put me on. So that's right then is when I quit that doctor and found somebody else. So it was right at the beginning of the COVID-19. And I really needed a different way. I really needed something that worked for me better. And this is what works for me. I personally eat one meal a day. That keeps my blood sugar where it needs to be right now. Maybe down the road I can go to 2 meals, but right now it's just 1 meal a day. Intermittent fasting, making sure there's a 16-hour window of fasting, and then you don't eat till like noon or 12:30, and then your last meal is at 6. So that's basically what a lot of people do. Some people like me who are more severe only eat the one. I don't have a big weight problem, as you can see. I am not a big, huge person. So my diabetes comes from inherited. It's biological, it's inherited, it's already in my genes. Nothing I can do about it. When I was a young girl, I used to pass out all the time. I was playing my violin. I was a musician when I was a young girl, playing my violin, and I would just pass out right there on the floor. One day my mother did take me to the doctor, but she didn't tell me that they were going to do this blood test on me, and for breakfast I had this lovely piece of apple pie that was in the fridge. Made my blood sugar go through the roof. And so they never did bring me back or try again after that. So I don't know whatever happened. Obviously I didn't die. So I think I had one doctor tell me that I'm a Modi, which means in between 1 and 2. So maybe when I was younger, I was a 1, but I didn't die. Typically, if you don't have insulin and food and stuff like that, when you're type 1, you don't do well. But I didn't die. So I was somewhere in between a 1 and a 2. And then in my 50s, I seemed to transfer into a 2 more. But I'm still in the middle. I still have parts of each. So it's harder for me. That's my theory. It's harder for me to control it. But this particular plan, diet, exercise, intermittent fasting, checking the meter every day, every single day, 3-4 times, making sure that everything's okay. Mike the meter is what Dennis Pollock calls the little meter thing that you buy in the store to test your blood sugar. Mike the meter. He becomes your new best friend and tells you what's okay to eat and what's not okay to eat. What are your triggers? What are the things that make you go way high? Bacon, regular bacon for me won't work, but turkey bacon does. Regular hamburger doesn't work for me, but a turkey burger might work. So chicken works really well for me. There are some recipes, and I'll be sharing some of those with you in the next few days. Some of the meals that I can prepare there. It's really simple. It's not anything hard to do, and it's satisfying. I don't starve. I'm still here. Still got some meat on my bones. So anyways, those are the 5 steps, along with prayer and asking the Lord to help you in this journey, to help you and guide you and show you the right diet for you. And that's what I did. I said, Lord, I can't do it on my own. I just can't. I'll die. I'm going to die if you don't help me. And the Lord had other plans for me. So obviously I haven't died yet. I haven't gone. And he has a lot in store for me, and a lot for me to do. And this is what I do to keep my blood sugar in order. And if you're suffering with diabetes, I hope you'll give it a consideration. Look to Beat Diabetes on YouTube. Start there. You'll find that that's a good place to start. His name is Dennis Pollock, and he was in that position of having diabetes in his family. And it came on him pretty suddenly too. And he found this way, and it works for him, and it's worked for every other person that has tried it, it seems. So if you're struggling with it and you're caught up in that whole insulin diet pill, diabetes pill game that the doctors play, It's not going anywhere. It's not going to help you. It's not going to cure what you got. Just won't. It won't make it okay for you to eat whatever you want. That time is gone. You can't eat potatoes. Just can't. Can't eat potato chips. Can't eat cake and pie. Can't eat that. You can have eggs and bacon. Lots of eggs and bacon. Eggs are good for diabetics. Good for diabetics. They work pretty good, at least for most diabetics. So, anyways, I'll be coming up with some of the recipes in later times. Today, don't forget, over on my other channel, Barbara Wiley Art, we're going to be doing the tulips today. Pretty tulips. Okay. Now, today I want to talk to you again about fear. We're not going to fear today, are we? We're going to stand firm. I know that there's been a lot of talk about food shortages and about crazy stuff going on, regime change, and all kinds of crazy stuff that is scary. It's just totally scary stuff, but we cannot fear. It may look scary, but we know that we have a God that we can trust in, and He's got a plan. Trust me, He has a plan, and He has the entire world order in His hand. People may think that they can do whatever they want, but they can't. And pretty soon, we're going to be seeing that. So, stand firm, hold on to your faith, believe. God is in control. Read the Bible, pray, and go to church. See you later. Bye.